next up is Tommy from Gridsome. So he is one of the co-founders together with his brother, actually. And I think he will tell you all about what Gridsome is. I will not like spoil that. So now I will make you the host, Tommy, so you can share your screen. Right. And yes.
Can you see it?
I can't see your screen yet. There it is.
There?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about Gridsome. It's a static site generator for Vue. It's inspired by Gatsby, but for Vue. We are two brothers, as I said. We have been building websites since we were 14, 15-year-old. Started in Flash, been deep into WordPress and Drupal. Yeah, so why Gridsome? It's like Gatsby, so you can connect to any data source. You build with Vue. It's fast by default. So I'm going to talk about those three topics in these slides. So you connect to any data source and you pull data into a local graphical data layer. The data layer is just temporary, so it's only available in development mode. You can add data with a data source plugin, just like Gatsby. But so this is an example of the Sanity plugin. I think we do that different than, for example, Gatsby is that we have routes. So you can, for example, just add the type name and then the route instead of using create pages. So for example, this would create, yeah, you don't need to use create pages. So this will create routes for the Sanity blog type name. If you go back here, this is actually just a prefix now for all the content types coming from Sanity. So here you can, for example, create a route for Sanity blog, where blog is a content type from Sanity. Yeah, and you can pull that data from any IPs with the data store IPE. Yeah, and you can also use Markdown for data. So all you do is just install a plugin. You set the path where the files are located. Tell them the type name. The type name is the name it gets in the GraphQL schema. You set the route. So any front matter field is added to the route. You can use any front matter field in the route. Another cool thing about Gridsome is that you can add references to tags, to any front matter field. Let's say you have, for example, a field with tags. If you add this, every tag will gets its the tags front matter field will get a route automatically. So you can easily create the taxonomy pages for these tags. So in every Gridsome project, you have a GraphQL playground included, just like Gatsby has like a local GraphQL explorer. So you can preview and test queries from the local data layer. So you just go to localhost and ___ explore, and you can, and the Explorer will open. So here you can write queries and test the results. And you can also browse the schema, so you can see any fields that are available for the data. Yeah, and with Gridsome you build a view. So now I'm going to show you just how easy it is to like get data from the data layer to view components. We use file-based routing for in Gridsome. So every file in pages directory is a page. So here, for example, is about is your website about. And we use single file components. We use single file components. They're very clean and nice to read. So this is how we build in Vue. You get all the HTML style and script in one. And with Gridsome, we introduce another block called page query. This is where you add the GraphQL query. And the GraphQL query will be available in the page object. So you can just do whatever you want with the data you get from the GraphQL query. So this is a query you can test in the GraphQL playground you saw earlier. We have a very smart template system. You just create a file in templates directory with the same type name as the schema. So for example, here is the sanity post, and you just create the file with the sanity post. And then you can just add the page query where you reference that post or any post with the ID. So yeah, it's a very nice and clean way to do it. We also have built-in pagination. Everyone knows it's hard to do pagination on various headless frameworks. So we have a built-in pager component that you use together with a paginate directive for GraphQL. So you can do any GraphQL collections in on the data layer and paginate them, and it will automatically create paginate pages for it. It's also very easy to create taxonomy pages with the Gridsome. Here's, for example, is a tag page where you list all posts that belongs to that tag. So every post that had referenced that tag will be listed on this page. But that's because every tag, if it has a reference, will get that belongs to a field where you can query the posts that belongs to it. Gridsome is fast by default, just like Gatsby. Pre-render HTML, nothing beats static HTML on a CDM in speed. Code splitting, only what you need is loaded per page. Smart link prefetching that uses intersection observer to load next pages. This is stuff that Gatsby does also. Progressive images with automatic image compression and lazy loading. I will tell a bit more about that later. It's a bit different than how Gatsby does it. And Vue single page application hydration for fast browsing with no page refresh. In Gridsome, we have a global component called glink. It's almost like Gatsby link. Glink is intersection observer to prefetch link pages when it's in Vue. This makes browsing around very fast because the clicky page is already downloaded. It prefetches a generated JSON file of the page plus a JavaScript chunk if it's needed. So it only loads a JSON file of the next page. It doesn't load the whole HTML file. So it's very fast, and and it loads a chunk, JavaScript chunk if it's needed, like if the next page have a different JavaScript. Progressive images with Gammage. We also have a global component called Gammage. Gammage lets you set width and height and quality in real time when in development mode. So what you see is what you get. So you can resize and crop the image in real time. So it's and you also get the compression and everything. So it's very easy to add the responsive images and yeah. Gammage automatically generates an ultra compressed blurred by 64 image by default. And so yeah. But the goal with Gridsome is to make website building fun again. That's why you're building it. You don't need to be a performance expert. Centralized data management with a graphical data layer. And of course, build on the Jamstack. That's why we're building it. Status, 56 plugins, 11 starters, 140 contributors. That includes for documentation and core. 3,000 GitHub stars. Current version is 0.6.4, I think. And version 1 is coming in end of 2019. Yeah, that was it.
Right, thank you, Tommy. So yeah, so we are, of course, big fans of the work you have done. I have gotten to play around with it a bit, and it has a lot of like convenient stuff, especially like the taxonomy pages, and that is not as easy in other frameworks. So really great work there.
Yeah, we tried to make some stuff easier than.
And that's stuff that everybody needs at some point or time. So that's cool. So we have made, or Aspen, a developer at Sanity, has made a source plugin for Gridsome, which makes it easier to take like content from Sanity and put it into a Gridsome site. So I thought I should show you all how that looks. With some not live coding perhaps, but live showing, live content managing. So if I share my screen, let's see. This, and we have some inception here. Yeah, so the first thing I will do is to actually start the development server for Gridsome. And there I just posted my token. I will have to to delete that afterwards. So here I took the, don't do this, by the way. don't log your token. So here we have like the only configuration you need to get started with Sanity in Gridsome. It's the plugin, it's a project ID, it's a data set. The reason we have a token here is to let Gridsome read drafts, like drafts version of your documents. And I will show you why in a bit. Here we have enabled the drafts so that you can actually also see drafts in the front end. And we have something called watch mode, which sets up a listener that will load in new content as you either publish it or as you write it if you have a token. And here we have the routes thing that I must admit I thought it was a bit weird in the beginning, but it makes total sense. It's quite nice to just do this and have it like available as something we can just pop in a template file for. So this is just like a mod of this used to be Markdown based, now it's Sanity based. So now I could add a sanity post.view file here. Just refit the query. it looks pretty much the same. And here I have the template, which also are pretty much the same as it were with the Markdown based stuff. So that's pretty much it for like the implementation. And here we have the front end running locally and the studio running actually on Netlify. So I just took our blog starter and connected it to the Gridsome front end. So now we should be able to I have a lot of Zoom stuff going on my screen. Let's just clean that away. So now I can add a new post and I give it a slug and I give it a date, and as you see it pops up right away. No reloading, not anything. I can write an excerpt. I can add an image, alt text. Well, I can write the real alt text, I guess. And we can go in here and we can hopefully edit the hotspot. So that's cool. I love doing this. I can do this all day. Right. And we can also click into this post and start like creating content. So watch mode is pretty cool. It demos well, as they say, I think. And you can see that you can work with content as you are developing like the front end stuff, which is really nice way to work. So yeah, this will be available as soon as Gridsome comes with their, I think, is it 0.7 or something?
Yeah, next version.
Yeah, then you will have the APIs that supports all this.
Yeah.
And as Kevin mentioned, there has been a problem with these kinds of frameworks and headless CMSs where because they like infer the schemas, if you suddenly didn't have a content type, sort of, the site will break. But in this case, we are using the GraphQL schema definitions that you can deploy from Sanity, and we use that to create like the internal schema for Gridsome. I don't know actually if Gridsome works the same way in this manner, but we try to make sure that stuff don't break even though you haven't content for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we really look forward to releasing this for you all and see what people will be doing. I hope I had you convinced that it works.
Yeah, it looks good.
Right, so then we can take some questions if people have them. It's also okay to just ask in the chat if you don't want to talk. It speaks for itself, I guess. Yeah, so I thought I should mention that we are seeing that Gridsome like has some traction. You gave us some stats. I think that Scott Tolinsky from Level Up Tutorials and also Syntax FM podcast, a podcast with some awesome sponsors. He has made like a Gridsome course or tutorial. Is that right?
Yeah, he has. I think it's paid. You have to pay for it.
Is it good? Yeah, of course. It's good. Yeah. Are there any other places people can go if they want to learn more about Gridsome and how to use it and stuff?
There's many articles around on the web, but we haven't collected them yet in one place. So you have to Google it.
You have to Google it, yeah. Or perhaps people can just reach out on Twitter or
something. We have a big Discord group, so it's with a lot of activity.
Yeah, and we will probably write something as well when we launch the source plugin.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for doing this, Tommy. And we, of course, look forward to 1.0 and see where we are.
Sure.
Right.